Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are tonight's entertainment.
There's no business like show business.
Sit back, relax.
Thank you so much for coming out tonight, guys.
Showtime, folks.
Is the moment we've all been waiting for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Okay, welcome to the Film Game, ladies and gentlemen. This is the show where we create a cinematic masterpiece, a movie idea from just 5 random words. And today, my name is Saad, and with me as always is Andrei Barbat. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. I'm ready to make another masterpiece.
Yes, and unfortunately, our main man, Eggy, is not with us today. Do you know where he is, Andrei?
Last time I heard, he said he has to go in the United States for a certain film called Dune 2, which is set to release in 2023. I don't know any further details, but I'm definitely looking forward to the film. And hey, initially I was quite upset with him leaving temporarily this podcast. But if he does it for Dune 2, then I think we can forgive him and look forward to what else he has in store for us. Yes,
and we have a sponsor for the day. Do you know what the sponsor is? Could you let us know
definitely.
What it is?
No. It's from our dear friends at Cable. Whenever you need to do something, whether to transfer data or to connect different devices or to stream something on a monitor, you use a cable, right? I use a cable in everything I do, maybe to charge my phone or different devices. So yeah, it's very handy. It comes in different sizes. It can have different ends. Use Cable. Thank you, Cable, for sponsoring us.
And use promo code FilmGame at your local cable shop.
Yeah.
For a 10% discount. Okay. So let's get into it. The 5 random words today are the following: noise, bloody, throne, lifestyle, and salesperson. Let's say that one more time. Noise, bloody, throne, lifestyle, and salesperson. Play along at home. Let us know what film you would have made from those 5 words. But let's get into it. What are your first thoughts when you see those words, Andrei?
In a way, it makes me think of roughly the same the same concept that we had for Brendan and Julian going to a fantasy world, but they come from a modern world. So I'm thinking of a salesperson who chooses the lifestyle of medieval sort of Game of Thrones, style of conquering different. I don't know what's in Game of Thrones. I haven't watched it, but from what I know, it's about, medieval wars and family conquests and stuff like that. So a salesperson who maybe sells this kind of lifestyle, people who want to get an adrenaline rush, so they go to these medieval worlds full of dragons and wizards and bloody conquests, people who fight for the throne, and it's all very noisy and agitated. And this salesperson sells this kind of lifestyle until maybe he realizes something. And I don't know what else. This is how far my mind went.
So were you thinking of like a VR world type of thing? Like
No, an actual world.
So how is he selling the lifestyle?
Maybe it's a machine that takes them in a different dimension, or maybe it's just going too far across the globe to a zone which hasn't evolved enough, and it's still living in the medieval ages. And yeah.
Yeah. So like, yeah. Basically a tour guide, well, he's selling like trips to a medieval world. Could it be like a VR thing? So you go in, like, what was that series? I didn't watch it.
Freeguy?
Westworld.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that's what they do, but I believe they have some kind of virtual reality place, and then something goes on. But yeah, it could just be he sends them to a different dimension, and it's like a package, a holiday package, and an adrenaline package people go on in the future or something, and then things go wrong. It's like a Jurassic Park type of thing.
Yeah, it could be. So basically the medieval knights and the warriors and the wizards and all those elements, they realize they're being used, and they might plot to go against the salespeople or the companies which sell trips. And maybe this salesperson is stuck in the middle of these two factions, the medieval people, the bloody people, and the company. So he has to choose a side.
Okay. Yeah.
Or maybe he chooses none.
I got another idea. Basically, back in the day, you know the whole I don't think you know. Basically, in the Islamic Empire, so like it's about this guy called the Falcon of Spain, or they call him the Falcon of Quraysh. Or so he was this Syrian king or Syrian prince, right? And it's literally kind of like Dune. So he was a Syrian prince, and he was like living with his family, and then the Abbasids were like, they wanted to assassinate him, so they went to his like place, his I guess palace or whatever, and then they went in and they tried to take out him, and they raided the place, and then like he escaped, but like they killed some of his family, and then like he was running and they went to a river, and then with his brother, when his brother couldn't swim, and then the Abbasids, they were like on their horses, and they were like, hey, you gotta come here, we won't hurt you, just come here. So then the brother swims back, then they behead him. So it's like literally like this crazy story. So then the prince escapes, he runs into the desert, I think he has a servant with him, and then like they outrun these people who are trying to assassinate him, because I think it's for like the whole throne thing, right?
Yeah.
So that's a pretty cool like entrance. So like he's running away, and then he's like, he finds himself in Morocco. So like he's really poor, he's like living in Morocco. And no, he finds like the Berbers, which is like his mother's people. So like they're like the nomads in Morocco. So like he like lives with them because they're his mother's people. It's literally kind of like Dune. but yeah, so then after that, he starts sending letters out to like his relatives. So like he's really depressed and stuff, and then he starts sending letters out. And yeah, he's talking to people, where else can I go? And then he finds out he's got relatives in Spain. So at that time, it was like under the whole Islamic rule or whatever it is, or like Arabs, whatever you call it. So he sends his servant to go to Spain, and then he's like, yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in Spain, so maybe you could go in there, get a job or something. So basically he was sending out job applications. Where can I be king? So then, yeah, so he goes to Spain, and then he just failed to say hi. But then like the rulers in Spain, it's all a bit crazy, and they're like, this guy's going to try and take over the throne, and he's like 19 or something. So then like the people around him, he starts building a following, and then people like him, and then it's like they offer him a slave girl or something to not be king or something, just as a peace offering or something. He's like, no man, I don't want your slave girl, I'm a good guy. And then and then yeah, I think there's like this big battle, and then he becomes the Falcon of Spain. He becomes the king of that area. So yeah, he's fighting other Arabs and stuff. So it's all this like Game of Thrones in fighting. So anyway, I was thinking we could take that story of the guy who's like this prince. He goes into your classic hero's journey type of thing. So he falls away into the wasteland in poverty, and then he comes up, he rises, becomes the king again. But take that and then put it into this kind of story.
Right. Yeah. Where does the salesperson bit come?
So I was thinking, instead of him becoming a king, he becomes a really good salesperson, and he creates a business, and then he creates a business empire, and then he's given and then the people want him to be king or something, and then and then there's a whole thing about revenge. He wants to go get the people who killed his family, but then he's like, "No, man, I'm just gonna be king or something." And
Cool.
put that whole story in space.
In space?
Yeah.
Why in space?
It's cool, man. Aliens and stuff.
Let's go with that.
But I do like
Because
the VR thing as well, or like the sales, the once in a lifetime trip to follow a medieval thing.
Then let's combine them in a way. What if he can use, like he develops a company, right, as a salesperson by selling, and he sells different headsets which are VR, and through them he can control different soldiers, and he plans to use that, like he's making a game in which you have to defeat an evil lord, an evil army, but actually that's not a game. What people do is actually control some soldiers with a VR headsets, and they actually defeat the evil kingdom in real life, but they think it's a game. So that's how the main character becomes the Falcon of Spain, by conquering it with soldiers controlled by VR.
Or I kind of think of like Assassin's Creed. So if you put them in the body, in the body of the Falcon of Spain,
Yeah. Now I get it.
And a side note, have you been following the whole Metaverse Facebook?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's precisely what Facebook is doing, right? With Metaverse. It's a virtual world, a 3D virtual world.
Okay. If it was in a Star Wars type of world, how would, if it was the Falcon of Mars, the Falcon of something else? I think that'd be pretty cool too.
Yeah, it would be like John Carter.
Yeah.
Have you seen the film?
Yeah.
So it's also about Mars, but it's Mars, which has a pretty medieval civilization, and Earth, which I think it wasn't in modern age. It was somewhere in the 20th century, early 20th century, but still more developed than what it was on Mars.
And then how does he get transported there?
I don't remember. I think it was his uncle or someone from his family who discovered a way to go there, but they didn't reveal it to anyone.
Yeah.
And he went there by mistake.
Yeah.
Maybe this guy finds a VR by mistake. And like in Tron, and he gets transported there. And in order to go back to the real world, he has to conquer the evil kingdom to be the Falcon of Mars or Neptune.
Shit. Yeah, so what if the salesperson in our world is selling this VR experience, but he's actually just transporting them into a different dimension?
Or what if the VR headsets, they're actually just a game, so no one is transported, but he's the only one who gets transported, like actually transported and being there. And he gets transported by mistake. Maybe he finds an old USB stick, and once he presses it, he gets transported or something silly like that. And in order to go back to his own world, he has to beat the game to defeat the evil kingdom. But the evil kingdom is led by the people playing the game, to whom he sold the VR headsets. And when they see him in the game, they say, oh, they made the character after the guy who sold us the headsets. But they don't know it's actually him.
Yeah, so it's like Freeguy.
Yeah, it's like Freeguy. I've seen it.
Yeah.
Taika Waititi, yeah.
Yeah. I guess I'm a little bit hesitant now with the VR stuff, even though I pitched it. I think it.
Why? What's the reason?
We kind of already did it with the. Well, we didn't actually. The Dragon Slackers was a different place. That was more Narnia. So this is
Yeah.
Wait, we've got another word we haven't used. Noise. Noise, bloody, throne, lifestyle, salesperson.
Noise. How would we be able to put? Maybe in the world, whether it's VR or something else. But in that special world in which he travels, his special ability is making noise, like actually screaming very loud and making his enemies drop.
Yeah. This is my problem with the VR, even though I pitched it, is you lose the stakes a little bit.
Oh, no. Sorry, I don't know why I'm yawning. You don't, because we can make, I mean, in most of the films and television shows where there's a VR world, the main character is informed that if he loses, he dies. It was the same thing in Tron. The main character played by Jeff Bridges, he's transported into a sort of a digital world, and he has to save it, but he's been told that if he dies there, he dies in real life as well. And I think in other, like, this is a common trope, a common thing happening whenever there's a VR world. In order to add stakes, the character is informed that he or she might die.
Okay.
What if they are transported to that VR world through noise? So there's a machine which generates noise at a certain frequency, which manages to teleport the body to the digital world. And maybe another noise, another kind of frequency manages to transport it back. And in order to get that frequency right, you need to beat the game.
Yes. Okay, so who are the bad guys running the game? It's kind of like Jumanji then. Jumanji.
Yeah.
Summarize the story you have now then. Summarize it with everything we said. So what is your picture?
So we have this salesperson who sells VR headsets to people who play a game. No. Yeah, he does that. But at one point, he stumbles onto a machine which creates a noise with a certain frequency. And he activates, and that frequency transports him for real to the other world, which is the game world. And over there, he is on Mars, and he has to defeat the throne, the bloody throne of Jeggy, or whoever that villain is. And through, actual fights and action sequences and stuff like that, he actually manages, and he's being given another frequency, which he uses to activate that machine and transport him back to the real world.
Okay. I see that. Yes. And so yeah, who's making this game? Is it like is it a mystery like Jumanji?
I think on the surface, it's just a company which sells VR headsets with that game. There's nothing wrong with that, nothing weird or special. But the only thing that's weird is that machine which transports him to the game world, about which not many people know. Maybe no one knows, or maybe just some. It depends on what the backstory of the machine we decide will be. But by now, I don't think there would be.
Yes. Okay. Okay, so what's the backstory of this salesperson?
I think we could go the route of him being just an ordinary person with nothing special about him, hating what he does, wanting to go out of his routine, to get an adrenaline rush.
Or could it be someone who's yeah, okay. So it's just like a guy who's a little bit fed up with the routine and the mundanity, and then the little annoyance. So he's at this like game shop and he's selling the VR set. He's selling like phones or whatever. Where do they sell VR sets?
Like in many shops with, you know.
Okay, yeah, he's working at Tesco. He's working at
devices.
a supermarket, like Asda, wherever. And so like he's just a normal cashier guy.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and he's like, oh man, I want to do something else. And then he finds something in the back, you know, this like mysterious thing. And like Jumanji, he just clicks it, and then like the noise plays, and it's like Dune. It's like, ah. So yeah, he hears that when he's in the back of the Asda shop. He hears that playing from like this old or this new looking video game thing. And then he clicks a button. It's like a box. It's like an Xbox type of thing. And he clicks the button, and then that noise starts playing. It's like ah, and then he gets transported into this desert place, this desert planet.
On Mars.
Let's not do Mars. Let's make our own universe.
Okay.
So it's a desert planet, which is going to be similar to Syria. So it's following the Falcon of Spain, right? So yeah, he's in Syria. Well, he's in a palace, actually. He wakes up in a palace. And then he's like, wow, look at all this stuff. Look at all this stuff. And then like there's drums, there's cries, there's war cries. He's like, oh my God. And then like his brother comes up to him. He's like, brother, we have to go. And he's like, who are you, man? And he's like, come on. And then so they run, and then the whole thing happens. People are dying. And it's like your classic, have you seen Revenant?
No.
Revenant with Leo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
And, but
He
yes.
won the Oscar for it.
Yeah, some classic cinema movement with the army coming in and him running. And then yeah, he follows the brother and some other people that escape to get to the river. And then he swims across and he escapes. And then the servant he ends up with, he like informs them, this is where you are, this is what you have to do. But yeah, so that's on some normal looking sci-fi planet. Let's call it Syriacus. And then they find a space boat, and they go to Marokakis. They go to the rock, Marok.
Marok Johnson.
Yes. Let's think of a name for these planets. Basically, we'll do that whole story. And then obviously to survive, he has to use his sales skills that he's learned from Asda. And and then so he does the whole journey. But before then, what are you thinking so far? You like that?
Yeah, I do. I was just gonna add something. When he first wakes up in the palace, he could see the royalty, the luxury over there, and he stumbles upon a vase which falls on the floor and crashes. So he just puts it back from where it fell, but it's broken. And he said to himself, "Oh, it was here. It was like that before I arrived." But then he sees how broken it is. So he gets it and he puts under a carpet, but you can definitely see the bulge in that carpet of where the vase is, but he just leaves it there. That's the only thing I have to add.
Okay, so they're on Maracas, and then he's with the nomad aliens, humans who are like of his mother's people, and they're giving him information. Maybe he's learning how to use certain skills. But they're really poor and stuff. So then he starts selling like spice, something like that.
Yeah, space
spice and rugs and stuff. So that's what typically nomads would like. They have like carpets. That's what I saw on Airterror, which was like, but like it's like a tribe, and they sell like rugs and carpets and clothes. And so he's out there selling that stuff, and it's like really painful. And he's like, he doesn't know the place. He's really hungry.
What if he's being chased over the course of the whole film by the evil army, and at the same time he wants to go to the evil kingdom, but the evil army of the evil kingdom is also following him, and on each planet that he goes, he's found by them, and this is an opportunity for a chase sequence or some sort of action sequence in which he either fights them or he runs from them.
Yes. Interestingly, in the actual story, or whatever the historical documents, they say, so he escaped them, and so he's got nowhere else to go. So he turns towards Spain. Right? Yeah, it would be cool if we have some more people trying to attack him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they catch up to him. So then he gets another space boat and he goes to Spainacus, or what's another cool name? What other names do they have in Dune?
Let's call it Paynacus, so without the S, or simply Spain, but someone says the S is silent, so it's in Payn.
Yes, he has to go towards the pain. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's deep. So he goes towards the pain, and in there it's kind of this crazy place, but they tell him, you are an heir to that throne as well, or something.
Yeah.
And then people start following him.
On Facebook.
So, yeah, and then the corrupt leader of Pain, they give him a slave girl. You can have this, and he's like, nah, man, I'm a real G, you know. And so then they're like, well, and they send, like, the story is that they sent assassin to him while he slept, and then he took them out. So then, and then after that, he started forming a, what's the word? Started forming a group, I guess followers of rebellion, and he didn't want to, but then they took it. The leader of Pain, he brings his army, and then he says, okay, we will have war. So they go to the battlefield, and then in the story of the Falcon of Spain, there was like one of the people in our hero's army, and he was riding a mule, and then the Falcon of Spain was riding a horse, and then he was like, how can we follow you when you ride on a horse and we're on a mule? What kind of leader are you? So he's like, you take the horse, I'll be on the mule then. If it's basically like humbling himself, whatever. So we can do an equivalent of that, but with space stuff. So like a space donkey. So he's on a space horse, and then he trades in that for someone. He gives his space horse to the guy, and they defend. Yeah, they defend the region or something from the corrupt leader of Payn, and then they start. Basically, they retreat, and then there was also the thing. He's like, let them go, don't attack them while they're running away, because he's a great guy. And he learned all of this from Asda, basically.
What if it's like there's a theme about like the theme of the film is living up to your destiny or something like that, reaching your potential. And this is written in it's a game, right? When you buy the headset. So the game also has an instruction manual. And maybe in the manual, like the manual is quite general. Like you press this button to do that, and then it explains the gameplay mechanics. But maybe hidden in those gameplay mechanics is a way to defeat the Empire, because it could be saying things like, make sure your enemies have a health bar below whatever. Yeah. And he finds a reference in the game world for which he can use to defeat his enemies. I can't explain with actual examples, but I'm just saying, what if the game manual makes sense in the world of game, but also in his dealings with his enemies?
In the world of the game, or in the world as well as the world of Asda?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So he has a manual. I'm thinking, do we want the whole, you have this many lives? I think.
Yeah, as long as it's impactful, and he can start with just one life. So he dies for good. And maybe at one point, he actually loses his life, but he's been given a new life by an old lady, which he helps at the beginning of the film or something like that.
Yes.
So it could be used in a meaningful way.
Yes. And so the finale is he's given the keys to the kingdom. Basically, he becomes the Falcon of Payn, because he fought through his pain.
Yeah.
And
but the Falcon, or since they are using donkeys to travel in space, wouldn't it be more appropriate to be the Donkey of Payn? And actually name the film just like that, the Donkey of Payn.
Okay. There's probably a cool metaphor in there, I think. Or okay. Yeah. The Donkey of Payn. No, man, we can't call the whole thing the Donkey of Payn. It's gotta be cooler.
No, I was just kidding. It could have a cooler.
The Stallion of Payn.
Yeah.
So the Pony of Payn.
Well, if you want to go a serious route, let's go with the Stallion. because Pony of Pain sounds just like Donkey of Pain.
Yeah. Okay. So, Stallion of Pain. And yeah, so then we get transported back into Asda, and basically through all that blood and hardship, he starts to appreciate his life in Asda, and like all the little things, like people, taking their time on the aisles when they pay for stuff, like, little kids like dropping stuff on the floor or whatever. So before he was like really irritable, but now like he just appreciates the world. And obviously he progresses in his career at Asda, becomes a store manager, because he starts working with people, he starts building some grit,
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, there you go. And yeah, so I'm thinking the whole game thing is like a Jumanji thing. So it's a mystery.
Mm-hmm.
It's just stored with all the other Xboxes or something, the VR headsets or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like a different color or something.
A different color, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a red Xbox. He's like, that's weird. And on it says the Donkey of Pain. Like, that's a cool game. Stallion of Pain. And yeah, he learns that he has to be tougher. He has to go through his own pain. He has to face himself. Because on the other side of pain is greatness. You can become the manager of, Asda if you wanted to be. Work your way up to be the CEO of Asda.
Yeah. Or if you want to be just a guy doing his normal job, as long as you put your job to good use and you don't use others for your own benefit.
Yes. And also, yeah, the whole appreciating life as well. Because a lot of the whole VR thing, it's like people are escaping life. Whereas this is, you're going to pain, you're not going to pleasure. And you come out and you're like, yeah. So yeah, he just feels hopeful, optimistic, and then yeah, he puts in the work. And when you're more optimistic, you can face more pain in a way. It doesn't feel like pain. There you go.
That's actually a good story.
Yeah, man.
Which could be made into a blockbuster.
Yeah, bro.
And obviously this is just a skeleton, but it's a pretty well-made skeleton.
Yeah.
Because it's got a full roller coaster of a journey, a transformative journey.
Based on historical stuff, which people love,
Yeah.
Cool.
So, yeah, in a way, it combines things of the past, which is referencing history, with things of the future, which is, the whole VR, video games, 3D world.
Yeah. And that's the cool thing. We're not using the 3D world as an escape. It's like, yeah, it's basically how you watch a movie, and to run away from your problems.
Yeah.
Or you watch it and then it inspires you to face your problems. Yeah.
I read somewhere an interesting quote that we don't watch good films to escape the world, but to make it better.
Yeah, buddy. That's the tagline.
Yeah.
There you go, people. The Stallion of Pain. I mean, do we want the Stallion of Pain? I keep thinking of Meg the Stallion.
Then let's go with something else.
So we've got the Falcon, but let's change it because that's already the historical thing.
Let's think of an animal which is representative of the protagonist.
The lion.
Yeah, but that's too easy because a lion is instantly, it could be a squirrel, for example, because it's not a predator, but it's still a courageous, like an animal which at first doesn't seem like a hero, but it could be a hero. So
I think Donkey of Pain, the Mule of Pain, the Donkey of Pain.
I think the mule sounds better.
Yeah, the mule is the hard-working thing.
Yeah. Because donkey sounds more like something funny, stupid, but mule, and it has been used before. There's a film with Clint Eastwood called Two Mules for Sister Sarah.
Yeah.
So, and it's a serious film. I mean, serious, it's a Western film. So it could be, if anyone makes fun of the film, we could excuse ourselves by saying that it's a reference to a great Western by Clint Eastwood.
Yes. Yeah, and pain, we'll spell it differently. So Payn, just so it's not like super obvious. Well, it's obvious, but it's slightly sci-fi-esque.
So for casting, we decided on Jacob Batalon, most known as playing Ned in the recent Spider-Man series, and for the villain, the ultimate big bad alien guy, we went for Keanu Reeves, and as our director, we chose the one and only Denis Villeneuve.
We present to you the Mule of Payn, an epic story that puts forth a guy who's working in Asda, who's not really appreciating his position in life, and gets transported via a mysterious VR Xbox into an alien world, kind of like Star Wars, Dune, and it follows a story similar to that of the Falcon of Spain, a historical character, but we follow this guy as he battles his way and becomes the Mule of Payn. Ultimately, he has to go through pain to appreciate the life in the real world, and the other side of pain is greatness. And so when he gets transported back into the real world of Asda, he becomes more optimistic and appreciates the mundanity, the little things, and in that he can progress in his career. There you go.
One minute I was working in Asda, and the next I was fighting in an intergalactic war. I must move towards the pain, and in the dying of the pain I shall be free.